Round 1. Fight!
The release of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance managed to revitalize the franchise and give fans hope for its future. The game not only incorporated balanced gameplay, new presentation and an interesting story, but also tons of hidden content, including ideas that did not make it into the final version. Its success not only led to an exclusive sequel for Game Boy Advance, but also to the rebirth of the franchise, with several companies moving forward with a lot of different Mortal Kombat projects. One of the first was a failed attempt at creating a port of Deadly Alliance for the mobile phone market. This game was in development by Wild Seed, which acquired the license for the Game Boy Advance version, and wanted it to be the first game for their identity cell phone, which included exchangeable smart skins. The title was planned for a release at some point during the summer of 2004. The game was nearly finished and was awaiting Midway's approval. Unfortunately, it never saw the light of day, probably meaning that either the required final approval was never given, or something else went in the wrong direction. In May 2004, information appeared online that publisher THQ Wireless has teamed up with developer Backbone to bring the original Mortal Kombat to mobile phones in October 2004. Screenshots with 3 of the 4 planned characters were published on the pages of several magazines later that same year. For better or worse, the title shared the fate of the Deadly Alliance port for mobile phones and was never released. In January 2005, a THQ representative informed the fans that the company still has the license and plans to release the game. Since then, the players are considering the title as officially cancelled, as neither one of both companies will ever speak of it again. These 2 games are only a small part of what happened in the Mortal Kombat universe after the release of Deadly Alliance. Most of the fans had neither heard of nor remember either one of them, as the attention of the public was drawn towards much larger and far more ambitious projects.
Wonderful!
After the release of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, the development team at Midway started working on another major installment of the fighting game franchise. The goal from the start was to expand the game and to prove that Mortal Kombat can be so much more than just a fighting game. Online support was announced for the title very early in development by co-creator Ed Boon, when he personally confirmed the game in April 2003. Mortal Kombat 6, as the title was originally called, received its final name Mortal Kombat Deception in January 2004, when Midway registered the domains for its website. The title of the game was changed to Mystification in France due to the fact that the word deception means disappointment in the French language. A month later, Midway revealed that Deception will be released for Xbox and PlayStation 2 in the fall of 2004. A GameCube version of the title was not announced at the time. Such version will, however, be released several months later in February 2005.
A sinister force hides in the shadows, obsessed with dominating every realm, using the trust and loyalty of an ally to take it all. Through deception. Fight! Mortal Kombat Deception. Coming fall 2004.
The game was shown to the public for the first time during Midway's Gamers Day in March 2004. It was also in the spotlight of E3 in May, where it was chosen for Best Fighting Game of the Expo by 1UP, GameSpot and IGN. Shortly before the Expo, a German magazine published an article which revealed a lot of unexpected information. Among other things, it mentions the possible inclusion of Sector as playable character, but goes further, mentioning a question mark next to his name. The level of detail forced Midway to officially state that the text was based on an outdated document, and not everything is accurate.
Finish him!
Mortal Kombat Deception was released in the United States in October 2004 and became Midway's fastest-selling fighting game to that day, with more than 1 million units sold during its first week. In Europe and in other PAL territories, the game was released on November 19th. The story is a direct continuation of the storyline which began with the previous game.
It was not by chance that this struggle came to be. The blame falls squarely upon my shoulders for giving evil the chance it needed, and therefore fulfilling an ancient prophecy. Raiden's Earthrealm champions had failed to stop the Deadly Alliance from fully resurrecting the mummified army of the Dragon King. In the end, only Raiden himself stood between Earthrealm and total destruction. Defying the Elder God's wishes, he alone challenged Quan Chi and Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat, Earthrealm's last hope for freedom. Raiden was defeated. Their victory was short-lived. As suspicion and lust for power overcame both Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, the former allies turned on each other. The Deadly Alliance was no more. Quan Chi defeated Shang Tsung and reveled in his conquest. But it is said that there is only one true ruler of Outworld. And that ruler had returned. Onaga, former Emperor of Outworld, the Dragon King. Death awaited all who stood in his way. And so it was that a new alliance was formed out of desperation. There was only one chance left. Raiden's sacrifice was in vain, for the blast had little effect on the Dragon King. Now Onaga has what he needs to shape the realms as he sees fit. I was the fool who brought him this power. Only I can destroy this threat, born of deception.
Similar to Deadly Alliance, a big portion of the story is told in the game's Conquest mod. The new version of the mode is significantly improved and has evolved into a complete action-adventure game, in which you play as the new character Shujinko and follow all the events that lead to the resurrection of the Dragon King. The players have the opportunity to explore 6 different Mortal Kombat worlds, 2 of which completely new and never mentioned before, and see how the character turns from a teenager into an old man. Many characters appear in this mod, providing Shujinko with different missions to complete and rewarding him either with coins or with keys which can be used to unlock coffins in the crypt. Different events will only occur if you are on the right place at the right time. This time-depending gameplay element enhances the replayability of the game. Conquest is not the only additional mode in the game, as Deception takes the concept of including additional games to a completely new level. Chess Combat is a chess-like type of game, in which the 2 players take control over different figures on a chessboard. Each figure has different abilities, stamina and importance. The sorcerer, for example, can cast different spells, including kill an enemy figure or teleport a figure across the chessboard. When 2 figures meet on one field, they must fight in Mortal Kombat. The winner is allowed to remain on the field, while the loser is removed from the board. The battlefield itself is interactive too, allowing you to set traps or occupy power fields. The ultimate goal of each game is to destroy the leader of the opponent. An early trailer for Mortal Kombat Deception shows a very different version of chess combat, with figures that represent characters from Deadly Alliance. Unfortunately, these figures are not part of the selectable roster.
Ready? Fight!
Inspired by Street Fighter's own Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, the development team introduces Puzzle Combat. The goal here is to collect as much blocks of the same color as possible and then destroy them with the dragon symbol, sending them directly into your opponent's field. The gameplay is followed by super deformed versions of 12 Mortal Kombat characters on specially designed backgrounds. Each of these characters possesses a special ability that can benefit the player. Reacting on what is happening on the screen, the fighters will not only attack each other, but also perform finishing moves at the end of the fight. A lot more deformed characters are stored on the disc, as are available in the game itself. All these fighters are fully playable, but only accessible with third-party cheat codes. The depth of the gameplay of these 2 games highly exceeds everything previously seen in the franchise. Many fans consider them worthy even as standalone titles.
Look out! Rated M for mature. It will summon you. It will challenge you. It will consume you. Mortal Kombat Deception online for PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
The main fighting game contains 24 characters, 8 of which new to the franchise, 3 returning from Deadly Alliance and 13 from older games. Half of the characters are not accessible at the beginning and must be unlocked in the crypt. Rumors about super unlockable characters not represented on the characters select screen circulated around the internet for a long time after the game was released, but none of them turned out to be true. Most of the returning characters were absent from the franchise for years, and thus were heavily requested by the fans. Each of them had to be redesigned and adapted to the visual representation of the game. According to the developers, the new technologies allowed them to finally implement their original design ideas. This was not possible with the limitations of the previous platforms and the 2D sprites. One of the most obvious cases is that of Kabal, who is now wearing his trench coat, which was first seen on sketches for Mortal Kombat 3. Sub-Zero was one of the first revealed characters. When detailed images of his new look were published, they were met with strong criticism by the fans. Many stated that the design does not fit the character, and pointed out the strong resemblance to the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Unfortunately, all of this did not change his final appearance in the game. With a few exceptions, all new characters are either from the two new realms, or are members of the new Black Dragon.
Havoc.
A cleric of chaos. Havoc is from one of the two newly introduced Mortal Kombat realms and was initially meant to be an alternative outfit for Noob Saibot. He was later turned into a standalone character, probably due to the differences between the design of the Black Ninja and his own. In the first reports for his existence, he was referred to as Ska.
My goodness. Hotaru.
A warrior from the realm of Order Sado. He serves the Dragon King, as he is convinced that Onaga will bring order to the chaos that rules the outworld.
Dairu.
A former member of the Satan Guards. He was sentenced to a lifelong incarceration after killing an assassin in a single moment of chaos. After escaping from prison, he works as a mercenary for hire. The first concept work for Dairu was done during the development of Deadly Alliance. After the character was cut from the game, he was significantly redesigned for Deception.
Darius.
The leader of the resistance movement in the realm of Sado, and the person behind the corruption of the guardsman Dairu.
Cobra.
One of the newest recruits of Cabal's Black Dragon. Cobra was found broken out of prison by the leader of the criminal organization after he was arrested for taking countless lives on the streets of New York. Many fans consider him to be a clone of Ken, one of Street Fighter's most popular characters. This is based not only on the design similarities, but also on the fact that the developers referenced the character as Ken Masters before giving him his final name.
Kira.
As a black market weapon dealer, she was selling weapons to terrorists when she was discovered and made the very first recruit of the new Black Dragon. Kira is a character that borrows properties including design, weapons, and special moves from both Kano and Sonya.
Ashra.
A demon from the Netherrealm and a former member of the Brotherhood of Shadows. Ashra is looking for a way to escape the Dark Realm by slaying other demons with her sword, thus purifying her soul. During the development of the game, the fans often assumed that she has a connection to Raiden, mostly due to the look of both characters.
Shujinko.
Fooled into thinking that he is the champion of the Elder Gods, Shujinko is led on a false quest to serve them, without knowing he is in fact preparing the return of the Dragon King. Even though the character was never seen in the previous installments, his story begins years before the first Mortal Kombat game. The former Emperor of Outworld returns from the dead to reclaim his army and once again rule over his realm. Possessing and enhancing the body of Reptile, he will stop at nothing to achieve his goal of total domination. The return of the Dragon King is hinted in Deadly Alliance through the stories of Reptile and Blaze. He appears in Deception as the final boss and the ultimate antagonist.
Noob Smoke.
Noob Saibot and the Robot Ninja Smoke are fused into one tag-teamed character and serve as the sub-boss of the game. The idea of switching between the two characters was well received by the fans even though separate versions of them were not available. Noob Smoke is to this day one of the most used characters in the game. In addition to all these fighters, the game uses all Deadly Alliance characters for battles in Conquest. These are of course not selectable from the select screen as the developers never intended for them to be playable, but they can easily be accessed via cheat codes. The Deadly Alliance characters are not the only ones who can be accessed in this manner. A Conquest mode exclusive character, named Monster, can also be made available using a cheat code. With the exception of a few glitches, all these fighters are fully playable. Mortal Kombat Deception offers a large number of interactive arenas that have a very significant role in the gameplay. The fighters can transition between several levels of the arena, interact with objects scattered around it, obtain a very powerful weapon, or even trigger a death trap that will end the fight prematurely. One of the arenas was highly praised for its ability to instantly morph during battle, setting the bar high for the other fighting games. Many classic backgrounds return in a new form with an enhanced version of the original soundtrack. All of them contribute to the overall great music and dark atmosphere of the game. With the exception of the increased speed and a changed gravity, the gameplay has retained most of the basic properties of Deadly Alliance. The player can switch between 3 different fighting styles, including one weapon-based. Unfortunately, the weapon impalements and the power-ups are nowhere to be found. The number of available special moves was significantly increased, but there are less described combos per character. The uppercut and the sweep return as common attacks after the highly criticized decision to remove them in Deadly Alliance. Responding to the fans' desire for more finishing moves, the number of fatalities per character was doubled. A new finishing move called Harakiri was introduced to keep the struggle of the battle even after one of the fighters has been defeated. With it, the losing player gets the chance to perform a suicide before a fatality can be performed on them. Introduced in this game were 3 indicators located right underneath the character's life bar. They show whether the fighter is in any potential danger. Also new to the franchise is the use of breakers, which allow the immediate cancellation of the enemy's attack. Unfortunately, this new feature allows certain characters to perform a free hit during the attempted breaker of the opponent. In addition to this issue, 2 other major problems exist. The game does not handle the 2 players equally, and player 1 has more advantage. Due to a programming glitch, the players are able to exploit the throwing system and perform unblockable throws. All these problems led to an overall broken gameplay, unsuitable for tournaments. As a result, the attempt to bring the game to Evolution 2005 was unsuccessful. According to Ed Boon, the focus of the team was not the competitive scene, but rather the casual players who simply want to start the game and have fun. To bring back the arcade spirit of the first Mortal Kombat games, and to make it easier for people to play against each other without necessarily being in the same room, the developers implemented support for online play in the game. For this very welcome new feature, Mortal Kombat Deception was included in the Gamers Edition of the Guinness World Records as the earliest 3D fighting game to offer online play. The feature was supported by all game mods with the exception of Conquest, and made its contribution to the replayability of the game. Unfortunately, the official online servers were shut down several years after the game was released.
Toasty.
Deception is in us all.
Next to the standard version of Deception, 4 different collector's editions for the Xbox and a premium edition for the PlayStation 2 were released in the United States. Each of them has a different character displayed on the cover, and a collector's card of that character. In addition, these versions include a bonus disc with characters' videos, an updated version of the history of the franchise, and an arcade-emulated version of the original Mortal Kombat. Developed by Digital Eclipse, this is the best home version to hit store shelves to that day. The game itself does not have the quality of the original, as it suffers from small input delays, increased speed, occasional slowdowns and minor sound problems, but it is a big step forward when compared to the previously released home versions. A rare promotional collector's edition DVD, similar to the one for Deadly Alliance, was released in the United Kingdom. It contains even more bonus materials than the US version, but unfortunately not the original Mortal Kombat.
Goro, Shao Kahn. Excellent.
Several months after the release of the game, a US exclusive GameCube version was announced. Unfortunately, the management over at Midway made the decision not to release the title in other territories. The game appeared on February 28, 2005 and has several key differences when compared to the original. The Shogun Prince Goro and the Emperor of Outworld Shao Kahn return, increasing the number of playable characters to 26. Half of the previously hidden fighters are available from the beginning, and several gameplay and other problems have been fixed, resulting in a more polished game. Unfortunately, all this comes at a price, and for this version the prize is the online play, which is not available for the GameCube fans of the franchise. With the release of the game, several different companies jumped at the chance to create licensed products based on it. Next to the epic battle trading cards, the limited edition comic book and the standard game guide, Deception was the first game of the franchise for which custom controllers and an interactive guide were created. Upon its release, Mortal Kombat Deception received generally favorable reviews and was well received by most of the fans, winning several awards for Best Fighting Game of 2004 and being recognized for its diverse gameplay, giant scope and its contribution to the online gaming. The one area in which the game failed was the tournament scene. Even the completely overhauled rendering engine and the many plot twists were not enough to make up for the several serious gameplay issues which caused the game's rather fast death when compared to other titles of the franchise. In spite of this, Mortal Kombat Deception holds a very special place in the hearts of many fans, who to this day consider it one of the best games of the franchise. With Mortal Kombat once again in the spotlight, several characters made appearances outside the borders of the franchise.
So vote for me.
In the summer of 2004, Scorpion appeared as a hidden skin in the third-person shooter Psyops: The Mindgate Conspiracy. A year later, Raiden appeared as a guest character in Unreal Championship 2. This Xbox-exclusive version of Epic's first-person shooter was published by Midway. Both games received generally favorable reviews and were very well received by the fans. A lot more happened during the development of Deception, as several other Mortal Kombat projects were also in development. Immediately after the release of the game, Midway even announced the next major installment of the franchise, proving that the history of Mortal Kombat is far from over.